Hello and welcome back to another episode of my MotoGP 24 career mode, and today we're here for the second round of our first MotoGP season for the Portuguese Grand Prix. Now, if you didn't see the last episode, I do highly recommend you go check that one out before we do get into this one, because of course we had our MotoGP debut, so we did pre-season, then the first round of the season at Qatar, and to be honest, we had a very, very good weekend. A pole position in our debut race. Now, unfortunately, it does seem like the AI are quite weak in qualifying, so I guess we'll have to see how it goes in this episode as well. But they did seem pretty good in the races, so of course we got that pole position, managed to get 5th place in the sprint with a crash, which was not staged, by the way, as someone said in the comments. It was a genuine crash on the front end there with the hard tyre. And then, of course, in the main race, we had a better race because we didn't crash, and we ended up finishing on the podium. A little bit of contact with Aleix Espargaro at the end, but even still, managing to get the customer Aprilia onto the podium is really a good way to start the season. So this round then, the Portuguese Grand Prix, and you can see here we have got an extra challenge this weekend to beat Jorge Martin, which will be pretty interesting. Of course, Raul Fernandez is our main target. We've got to be in front of him after the first 3 rounds of the championship to assert ourselves as the team leader here at Trackhouse. So without any further ado, we may as well head into the Portuguese Grand Prix weekend, and hopefully we can build on the form that we had at Qatar. So our form from Qatar does seem to have translated over here to Portimao. In fact, in a slightly more commanding fashion. As you can see, we were actually 3rd in practice, taking us into qualifying 2. Interesting to see that Brad Binder's actually ahead of us there. Was not really expected to see that one. But crucially, we're actually ahead of all the Aprilia riders. And of course, Enea Bastianini, the championship leader as well. So that is pretty good to see. Also, Martin, I guess, in front of us, not the best because he is one of our extra objectives. But, oh well, if we could beat him, we could beat him. I'm not going to worry too much about it. You can see here then, Aleix Espargaro and Franco Morbidelli are the 2 that have gone through Q1. The best friends that have had a few little on-track incidents as of late. But happy to be in Q2 once again. I think we actually got a good chance of another good qualified position here because I think the AI are just a little bit slow in qualifying, and I'll try and take advantage of that as much as I can. Obviously, I don't really want to get pole position in like a cheap way or anything like we did sort of in Qatar. Not that I thought it was a cheap lap in Qatar. It was a very good lap, but I just feel like if they are massively off what they're doing in practice in qualifying, there's not much I can really do about it. One thing I am sort of struggling with this weekend so far is the rear grip. The rear grip seems quite poor compared to Qatar. It almost feels like the first bike that I tried in pre-season in the test feels almost that much worse, which is strange. I think it's to do with temperature. I mean, you can see at the moment that the rear tire's a little bit cold. It should be warm by the time we start our lap, but once you do a few laps, they do start to overheat a little bit, I guess, because, of course, this is the first time really we're riding a MotoGP bike in the day, aside from that one qualifying session that we did at Qatar. But either way, here we go then, starting our first lap here in qualifying. Got a decent slipstream off Morbidelli. Hopefully that'll help us out. Here we go, at the inside of Franco. He's definitely held us up so far in the lap, but there we go, pass complete. So we've got past him now. Hopefully he won't re-attack us around the rest of the lap. So to be honest, Martin probably got away from us in that second half of the lap, up towards the line. 39.8, pretty decent lap, actually 0.9 quicker than Martin. I'm surprised, because we didn't really gain on him that much. Like, obviously we did, but I didn't feel like I gained that much on him. Oh, that's a big slide through turn once we go over the curb. And there's going to be a decent amount more time in that as well, with see Morbidelli holding this up, although kind of blew that corner. The front tyre seems to be a massive issue in this session. I actually used the soft in free practice because I don't want to waste a medium like I did in Qatar, but actually looks like the hard is going to be the way to go. But of course we can't use one of those in qualifying if we need to use them for the race, and we've had a crash. Not ideal. That will have invalidated the guys behind, but obviously that's not really the intention with that one. So we'll go back to the pits. Hopefully the bike's not damaged, and then maybe try and come out for another run, because I feel like there is definitely some more time on the table. Alright, so here we go then for another run. Can we try and improve the lap time? You can see some of they are on red sectors, so there's definitely some time there. To be honest, I perhaps underestimated my previous lap because it's not been a lot better. You can see I was red in the first 2 sectors. It actually got slightly held back by Martin because as he came out the pits, I had to sort of pick up the bike up to avoid him a little bit because it kind of rejoins onto the line I wanted to be on. So that definitely cost us a bit of time in sector 1. And there you go, Bagnaia goes top, so forget the thing I said about qualifying. It does seem like they are still fairly fast in qualifying, although actually I'm a little bit slower, I think, and I went in free practice. So there we go then, at the end of the session, Bagnaia on pole position, much better than he was doing at Qatar. Really poor weekend for Pecco at Qatar. He qualified down in like 11th position, 2 DNFs as well. Really set him up for a poor start to his title defence, but this time he's bounced back on pole position. I'm second place. I'll absolutely take that one. Seems like the AI actually were a lot better in qualifying this race, which is really, really good, because I've heard that overall they're quite bad in qualifying, but it seems, at least for me, they seem to work pretty well at this circuit. Now, I hadn't done as many laps here as I had at Qatar, so probably I wasn't getting the most out of it, but even still, my last lap at the end was quite good. Didn't actually manage to improve on my previous one, but it was quite tidy. I think it was just the tyre overheating that ultimately cost me in the end. But in a factory Ducati sandwich then, because Bastianini is in third place, our two Aprilia stablemates backing us up in fourth and fifth, the Leish and Maverick, and then Martin down in sixth position. So another not amazing qualifying for Martin, but at least this time he's only 4/10 off instead of about 2 seconds. He was miles off in Qatar. Seems like they are much, much closer to their practice times, which I do like to see. But there you go then. That is qualifying. Time for the sprint race. I don't know exactly how it's going to pan out. I'm definitely going to have to use a hard tyre, I think. I think even that's going to overheat. Rear tyre is going to be a massive problem because the hardest you can use is the medium, so that's going to be overheating throughout the race. So I think we are going to have a bit more of a struggle, I think, than we did at Qatar, although at least this time the front tyre shouldn't be too cold. Obviously I had to use the hard tyre in the Qatar sprint and it didn't go very well. This time, deliberately using the hard tyres, so hopefully we are going to be pretty good for that one. But without any further ado then, let's get into the sprint race, and hopefully we can improve on what we did in Qatar. But I'll tell you who's missing. I don't know where Marc Marquez actually qualified. I'm surprised to see him not in the top positions at all, but he's at least 7th, isn't he? So I'm not sure exactly where he is, but not a great qualifying session from the winner of the Qatar sprint. But either way then, as I was saying, hard tyre is going to be the go-to for me. Obviously the medium tyre on the rear as well. It's recommending a soft, which is absolutely ridiculous. There's no way you could do a soft. I could barely do a soft over... Well, actually, I haven't tried the soft rear in fairness, but I could barely do a medium, so I can't imagine a soft is going to be much good for us around here. Maybe the soft with the better grip won't spin as much, so maybe it does counteract in some way, but I'm not going to take a risk. I'm just going to stick with the tyre that I've used all weekend and know how it works. 7 laps ahead of us now, though, for the Portuguese sprint. Let's see if we get off to a good start and try and challenge Bagnaia down towards turn 1.
There go Bagnaia, triggered the whole shot device, ready to start from pole position. Just a few more moments and the Grand Prix will begin.
So there we go then, Bagnaia on the pole, myself in the middle, bit of the imposter there. We've got to watch out for those two factory Aprilias behind because I'm sure they're going to want to beat us once again. But here we are then, the lights are on, waiting for them to go out for the Portuguese sprint. Lights out and away we go. And again, my initial jump off the lines really poor. Down to 5th place, 6th place. Alex Marquez actually going around the outside of us down towards turn 1. Down to 7th place. It's not been the start that we wanted. Martin's actually got in front of us briefly there. But back around the outside of Martin, around the outside of Alex Marquez. Although I'm going to get hung out to dry here a little bit. Allow Vinales to come back up the inside. So we're going to slot in, I think. Oh no, bit of contact from behind. Who's that on the inside? It's Alex Marquez. Alex Marquez having a hell of a start here. Martin comes back past us, so we're getting properly beaten up. And there's actually incident under investigation there. And a little bit of contact, I think, with both of them, but hopefully there's no warning or anything because I don't think there's any harm done by anybody there. And obviously I got picked up a little bit by Alex Marquez on the inside. We're trying to go around the outside of Martin. That wasn't what I was trying to do. The inside of Martin now. Can we do it? Martin actually got a warning for that. So there you go then. Martin on 1 warning already. We're a bit wide through turn 7. I think we just need to try and calm down, find a bit of rhythm. And here comes Marc Marquez. So I was saying, where is he? There he is. He's up the inside of us. We are just going backwards right now. This has been a terrible, terrible first lap. They're pretty much the polar opposite of Qatar so far. We were really good on the opening laps in Qatar, but here, I know the initial start wasn't great in Qatar, but we still managed to fight our way back through. But here we're getting properly beaten up. Who was out the inside? It was one of the VR46 bikes. It was Digi. We're back past Digi now, so back up into P8. But to be honest, at this point, we're barely going to score any points. There's only 2 points here for the sprint. Although, to be fair, it's basically all about beating Fernandez, and you can see we've got a decent amount of points on him in the championship. There's 17 points as it stands. And considering he's at the back of the grid, I can't see him scoring any points today. Here we are at the last corner then. We're closing a bit up on Marc Marquez. Can we try and get the slipstream? Bit of a wheelie over the crest once again. Down towards turn 1. We really are in the slipstream of Marc Marquez now. Wow, we're just going to mirror signal manoeuvre past him again. The slipstream is so powerful in this game. And up the inside we go. Oh, Martin! Martin absolutely punts Alex Marquez there at turn 1. We go over the curb a little bit there. Probably should have been a warning, to be honest with you. I thought about going up the inside of Marquez into turn 3, but thought better of it. Didn't want contact, don't want to pick up any damage. As was whole station at this early point in the race, although I suppose, to be fair, we don't have that long. It is only a sprint after all. And if we don't attack, I'm sure we'll get attacked by Marc Marquez. Well, I know they just completely ran in the back of Alex Marquez through there. They don't know why they're carrying such a little corner speed. Yeah, it's going to be under investigation. We're probably going to get a warning for that, in fairness. I got a track limits warning, so that's probably going to be 2 warnings there then. But yeah, the bike doesn't really turn through turn 5 at all, but the AI especially, we're not carrying any corner speed through that. It really caught me out. And yep, so that's 2 warnings in the space of about 30 seconds, so not great this lap, to be honest. See why Martin had to dive at the inside of Alex Marquez, though, with the pace he had in that corner. Tell you what, though, the hard tyre seems so much better than the medium, although, to be honest, the race pace is probably just nowhere near what we're doing in qualifying, so it's probably going to allow the tyre to have a little bit less stress. Actually, 40.4. Not that bad. But in the slipstream then of Alex Marquez. Dazwell's turn 1. Similar move that we did to his brother on the previous time. He's going to try and hang it around the outside, but he wasn't able to do it. So it seems like Alex Marquez definitely weak into turn 1. That's 2 laps in a row now that he's lost the position there. So next up then is Martin, and he is one of our targets this weekend. Obviously, extra objective to try and beat him after he said some stuff about us on the social medias. So here we are then, really sizing Martin up. We're looking for an outside move here. All of a sudden our pace has just come alive. We're a second underneath. Pretty sure we're on course to do better than our qualifying lap at the moment, which would be, to be honest, not that much of a surprise because I didn't feel that great in qualifying. Here we go. Can we try and make a pass? Oh, it's going to be risky. Got to try and back out of it. Oh, contact with Martin. Let him keep the position, but that's going to be another warning surely because we went for a move. That's the issue. When you half commit to a move, that's when it goes wrong, and that's realistic to be fair because we've seen it happen time and time again in real life. You half commit to a pass, and that's when it goes wrong. You've got to fully commit, but I realised I wasn't going to get through in time. But here we go then. Through the last corner. We've just got the drive underneath Martin. We've got that extra grip. The Aprilia's turning really well. And there we go. Fastest lap of the race to me, actually, there. Wow, okay, I was surprised to see that one. 39.7. Yeah, that's actually quicker than what we did in qualifying, I think. Which is crazy, because I was absolutely pushing the limits in qualifying. I think maybe that kind of shows us that I was pushing too hard in qualifying. And I was trying to make up for the deficit with the medium front there, but there you go. The hard front seems to be working beautifully today in these sprint conditions, and I tell you what, I can still sniff a sprint podium on the horizon. We're going to make it clean though on these guys in front. I know it was borderline with Martin, to be fair, but especially the two in front of us. They are the factory guys of our manufacturer, the factory team, so we've got to be careful. Aleix looks like he's struggling now because Maverick looks like he's sizing them up. To be honest, these two extremely close in this game. They're always together on track. Shows like we're all pretty much getting the best out of this Aprilia, although I don't know whether I'm really on the same spec of them. I suppose I'm a bit behind, so it'd be interesting to see what we could do if we were on their bike. But yes, it certainly looks like Aleix now is really holding up Maverick. I think we're going to have to try and pass Maverick, to be honest, and try and get past Aleix at the same time. That puts us up into 3rd place, and then Bastianini's up ahead. I think Bagnaia is gone, but I could see us still maybe getting 2nd place, because again, we're underneath the time by so much. I don't know what it is, the bike has just come alive in this session. It felt so bad in qualifying, felt kind of a bit rough in practice, but the bike has just come alive in the race conditions. And are we going to just do what we did to Martin on the previous lap to Vinales? Turn it underneath him. You've not been able to turn underneath an AI for years in this game, but Vinales, you see, has got the slipstream on Aleix. As we go down towards turn 1, this could get pretty sketchy. We outbrake Vinales into turn 1, but we're going to outbrake ourselves as well. Wide we go. Vinales back up the inside to pick the bike up for Maverick. Aggressive re-overtake there by Maverick Vinales. Puts us back down into 5th position. And all the while this is going on, Martin closes up behind and the other Ducatis in front pull away. The Aprilia's not helping each other out here. Although I think Maverick has just made a bit of a mistake. Can we try to sweep up the inside of him? The front end was all over the place there. Maverick around the outside, side by side with Maverick. Almost bar to bar contact. Don't know if there was slight contact there as our lines sort of joined together. But you can see I'm getting kind of desperate now. It just shows you lose a little bit of momentum. And all of a sudden you're on the back foot because it doesn't look like we're turning as well now all of a sudden through the last corner because I probably made a bit of a mistake. But this time, hopefully, we've got the 6-3 on Vinales. We should be able to pass him down towards turn 1. Yes, we do. Wow, the slipstream is so good in this game. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous slipstream effect. So there we go, up into P4 then. Aleix still probably up for grabs, but I don't think I'll be able to catch him there, and I'm definitely not going to catch Bagnaia now. I mean, I don't think I was anyway, but it's definitely ruled out. Oh, Maverick back on the inside. We've been picked up by Vinales. We're onto the green as well. Not ideal. We rejoin the circuit. Maverick not having anything, not having the satellite bike beating him at all. And we've run wide now through the Torre Vip. It's got to allow Martin through. I think we've got to focus on Martin now. We can't focus too much on battling these guys in front because it's going to cost us a position ultimately to Jorge. But I tell you what, going to definitely get a bit more aggressive with Vinales now because that was 2 very aggressive passes he's put on us now. Picked us up a couple of times. I got a little wheelie out of 3 and it just affected my change of direction into 4. And obviously Maverick smelt blood and went for it. There goes Martin at the inside. We're going to get the switch back on him though. Yes, we do. But Martin's definitely up for a fight now. Aleix kind of helping his mate out here by sort of holding us up. But this time, again, we're all over the back of Maverick Vinales. Going to try and carry the speed to the last corner. He's learnt, though. He's learnt. He's got a bit more defensive. I think I put the ride-out device on a tad early there. We're trying to ride underneath him. We've actually managed to ride underneath him. So there we go. We're past Vinales over the crest. We can try and get the slipstream of Aleix. We can try and use that to pull myself away from Vinales. So can we still get the sprint podium? It's still possible, but it's going to have to be an aggressive pass on Aleix because we can't really sort of rely on that last corner pass, I don't think. Right, here we go then. Aleix struggles over the hill. We're all over the back of Aleix now. Surely we've got to try and make the move somewhere. We can't be too aggressive with him again because we did bash him out of the way on the last lap that we did on the main race at Qatar. So we do need to keep it nice and tidy. Otherwise we definitely will be losing some rep with Aprilia. So we go through the last corner then. Aleix is going pretty defensive. Can we try and pick up the power earlier than Aleix? I don't think we're going to be able to beat him to the line now. We try and pick up the power, use the ride-out device, get in the slipstream of Aleix towards the line, go to the left-hand side. Are we going to beat him? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we got Aleix there or not. Yes, we did. We beat Aleix. P3, there we go. Woohoo. That was a good little last lap battle there. And you can see we actually closed up on Bagnaia as well at the end there because we were only 3.0 seconds behind him, and I think we were about 3.3 with a couple of laps to go. So even with that battling, we still gained back on Pecco Bagnaia. Really bodes well for the main race because it seems like once we get into a rhythm, our pace is there. We just have to make sure we don't get beaten up again on the first lap because that was pretty poor. We really got shuffled back. Pace was really good by the AI in this race as well because you can see we're very close to qualifying, and that's usually the metric to go by. If the AI are doing their qualifying times in a race, that's usually quite good. But there you go then. I think that should be our first sprint podium. I'm actually interested to see what the new cutscene's like because they've actually added new cutscenes for the sprints this year, so we'll have to see where the Parc Fermé is.
It was a great sprint, and now everything's in place to celebrate with the riders on the podium in the middle of the track.
So that was actually a pretty cool little cutscene. He actually had the medal on and everything. I wasn't expecting that. I was just expecting it to kind of be the generic podium cutscene, but in a different place. But it was cool to see the little sprint podium and the medals. But here we are then for the main race. And as you can see, it is actually overcast. It's actually really cloudy. So that will affect track temperature quite drastically. And it probably is going to push us back towards the medium. But to be honest, I think I'm going to stick with the hard. It felt really good. It's the best I felt all weekend, so I'm just going to go with it and hope that we can sort of make it work. I wasn't really overstressing it, so potentially it could be a bit cold, but I think that's a risk that I'm willing to take, and I know that would be a bit silly considering, obviously I kind of did the same thing last weekend, but that was more of necessity because I didn't have enough tyres, whereas this time, I know the bike feels good with this setup on, or these set of tyres anyway, and I just want to try and make the most of it once again. So without any further ado then, let's get into this main race, and hope that I get a better start because I do not want to have to drop back to 8th and have to come through once again.
The lights are about to go out. Pecco Bagnaia is starting from the front row thanks to that pole position from yesterday. All hell will break loose in a few moments. Okay, so I think we've all got our wetsuits on. Now, I think this was a bug that happened at Sepang Moto3 qualifying as well, but here we are then. The lights are on, waiting for it to go out here for the Portuguese Grand Prix. Lights on, away we go once again. Wow, an even worse start this time, but I was actually going to say that with the wetsuits, it doesn't actually mean it's going to rain, even though I thought it did the first time the bug happened. But into turn 1, wow, we've been really deep on the inside there through turn 1. We've actually managed to sort of maintain our position. We're actually up into 4th place, back up into 2nd place as we go to turn 2. So that's been a much improved start compared to the first race. I've learned clearly from the first race. A few riders passed us through turn 1, but we were able to actually retake the position. Now, I'll tell you what, it really doesn't look like it's going to rain, but we got the inside of Pecco Bagnaia. We attack into turn 5. He just tips it on me like I'm not there. Pecco Bagnaia, the world champion, turns in like we're not there. We kind of nerf him out of the way a little bit there, but I committed to the move. I'd fully committed on the inside. I couldn't back out of it at that point. And Bagnaia just started to tip into the corner like I wasn't there. The stewards haven't even noted it, so I guess not that bad of an incident at all. So we take the lead then here at the Portuguese Grand Prix. And this is the kind of start I wanted to have. Actually, is it under investigation now? It's Quartararo and Nakagami. So not relevant to our race, to be fair. Morbidelli's actually had a hell of a start, and I've braked way too early there. I don't know what I've done. Bastianini's ended up going around the outside. So has Bagnaia. I've picked up a Charlie was 1 as well because I've turned in a bit too early and clipped the green. That was a terrible corner. Wow, what was Bagnaia doing there? It sort of veered at us. Pretty crazy stuff. But there you go then. Bastianini, the championship leader, takes the lead of the race. Hopefully, he doesn't try and check out, but it looks like he is. So I think we're going to have to try and apply the pressure on Bastianini, try and get back in front of him, because we cannot have him pulling away by like 8 seconds like he did in the previous race. We can't let him win again. To be honest, I want to win a race, quite frankly. And I feel like we have the pace to do that. I know that we had the pace of qualifying
in Qatar, but I don't know if the race we actually did. But in that sprint race, we definitely had race-winning pace. And here we go then in the slipstream to the left-hand side of Bastianini down towards turn 1. We retake the lead once again from the factory Ducati man. And into turn 1, we've run a bit wide though. We've run pretty wide. Is he going to cut back on us like Vinales did in the sprint? No, he's not. So for now, we keep the lead ahead of Anea. And I'll tell you what, I'm sure I've just seen some rain there. Anea comes back up the inside. Whoa, more contact. They are really not messing around today. And there goes Bagnaia as well as a crash behind. Maverick Vinales out of the race. So second place in the championship, Maverick Vinales out of the race. I'm not sure what happened there. I think it must have been a crash there at turn 3. Alex Marquez up in 4th place. We've got a bit of a jumbled order. The run to turn 1 was a bit strange. A warning's come out and Bastianini's got a warning for that. Fair enough, because he properly hit me out the way there into that corner. And yet, it's definitely raining. Even though I'm pretty sure it said there was no chance of rain. I'm pretty sure I'm seeing rain now falling from the sky. I could be completely wrong, but I feel like I've seen the raindrops a few times now. So even though it's a 0% chance of rain, we could very well have a first flag-to-flag here in MotoGP, which would be very, very interesting because I've not actually done a flag-to-flag in career mode before. To be honest, I think I've only ever done the one in the video that I did on MotoGP 23 last year. It wasn't a feature that I really got a chance to play much because I never got to GP in career mode. I tell you what, these two Ducatis are pulling away in front. Seems like they have got a little bit of something extra over me. And Alex Marquez on the Gresini Ducati having an amazing weekend. It's all over the back of us and looking to take that final podium spot away. So he needs to get his head down, try and go with these guys. But yeah, I tell you what, I don't know where Martin is, but we're actually on course to beat him in this race, which would be great because that'd be the extra objective achieved. It's not even in the top 8, so not sure where he is. He probably got hung out to dry in turn 1. Apparently he's 3 seconds behind me. I just realized. Oh, as Bezecchi's down. Bezecchi's crashed. Bezecchi's crashed at turn 1. So another rider down. A lot of crashes happening in these races so far. At least the main ones anyway. And Bezecchi's out the race as well. Is a fast one at turn 1, so I'm not surprised. It seems like, as in the sprint, my pace is starting to improve now. I've got the tyres bedded in a little bit. We're closing back on the two factory Ducatis ahead. And we've had contact with both of them already in this race, so there's no love lost already. I don't know what Bagnaia was doing, tipping in on me. To be fair, Bastianini was just a very aggressive pass, but Bagnaia, I think maybe just didn't realise I was on the inside of him. Sort of tipped in, and then I couldn't really avoid him. I tried, but once you're on the brakes, you cannot turn him. We're going up the side of Bagnaia. A little bit what we tried with Vinales in the sprint, but on this occasion, not gonna come off, and somehow we didn't get a trot miss warning for that, because I definitely went on the green. So there we go, through this last corner, and we've hooked that up pretty well in the slipstream of Bagnaia. Big wheelie once again over the crest, fast up of the race, 40.2. So again, pace not too strong so far in these opening couple of laps. We go past Bagnaia into turn 1. Is he going to hang on the inside? He is! Oh, Bagnaia, a bit more contact with the world champion once again. Off the track we go. This is about the 3rd time this weekend I've been hit off the track by an aggressive pass. And you can see behind, we are actually starting to pull away now from Alex Marquez. To be honest, it's probably working pretty well for us. That's Alex Marquez and Morbidelli at the lead of the pursuers, and I'm not sure how they've managed it, but I think that is going to probably hold the rest of the AI back. So I think it is going to be a battle between myself and the two factory Ducatis for the win here. Although Bastianini, once again, tried to do his disappearing act. Does mean Bagnaia have been tripping over each other, but once again, like in Qatar, he's tried to just disappear at the front, and we try to go up the inside again of Bagnaia. It seems like I have got the ability to turn the bike tighter than the AI, which is the first time. That's been the case for a few years now. The AI have turned much better than the player in the last few games. It just seems like, on this Aprilia at the very least, I've got some really good turning. The bike is feeling really good underneath me. And again, I feel like I keep seeing raindrops, but I just don't think I am. I think it's all mental rain, or maybe it's a little artifact on the screen that I'm thinking are raindrops, because it's not scheduled to rain. The track hasn't got any wetter, and the drops haven't increased. So I just feel like I'm not actually going to get any rain in this race. So once again, looking to try and do this move through the last corner. It seems like we've just got a bit of an advantage over the AI out of there, which again is strange because I'm pretty sure this is an area where they used to be very good. But out of the last corner, then over the crest, a bit of a wheelie from Bagnaia there. His wheel sort of changed directions. He tries to counter steer over there. But this time then, have we got him into turn 1? Got to brake quite deep to not allow him back up the inside. Yes, I have. So now then, I can set my sights on Bastianini, provided I can get through turn 3 without getting dive on, because obviously we've had that already. There we go then. We are through past Bagnaia. So is he going to come back through 4? Yes, he is, because to be honest, I've made a big mistake there. That's kind of what happened with Bagnaia. It's got a bit of a wheelie. But this time then, Daz was turn 5. I've got the advantage out of turn 4. I've braked way too late here. I've braked too late. We're just about to keep it on the track. I'm surely going to allow Bagnaia back through. He's patently in front of me. No, actually, he didn't get back through. So, fair enough then. We're through on Pecco. Lost a bit more time to Bastianini, but it doesn't seem to be quite getting away just yet. So, nothing to worry about. Tell you what, we're all over the back of it. The pace we've got in this race is really good. I don't understand why they're so much off the qualifying pace. I mean, the pace is definitely coming easier to me than it was in that session, but even compared to the sprint, reduced a bit off the pace. But in the slipstream then, of Enea Bastianini coming up towards the line, fast up of the race to myself, 39.8, and we take the lead down towards turn 1, try and move back across the track to stop Bastianini, maybe coming back at us. Ran a little bit wide through turn 1, he tries to stick his nose back at the inside, but on this occasion, just not happening. And look at the gap behind to Martin now, 6.8 seconds. Martin really not having a good race, and we ran a little bit wide through turn 3, but actually, to be honest, it probably helped to stop them attacking us through turn 4. Although the rear slides quite a bit there, and Bastianini comes back through. So that seems to be probably my worst corner on the track there, turn 4. Because I've had a couple of AI pass us there now. But I feel like I've got pace over Bastianini. I don't think he's going to get away from me this time, like he did in the previous race, although it was probably about this point in the last race that he was pulling away from us. So we know Bastianini has got some demon late race pace, and we almost lose the front again there. You can trust the front a bit more through that corner this year, but even still, it's so risky to try and ride at the inside of someone, and you obviously risk the contact on the exit as well, like we did with Vinales in the sprint. Right, I'm definitely feeling quicker than Enea here. We're almost going to ride at the inside of him through turn 14, but to be honest, it actually cost me a little bit. Tried to go underneath him, almost touched the curb, had to sort of shut the throttle a little bit, and I think I've probably put myself too far back to pass him out of here now down towards turn 1, so it's probably another lap gone, because it does seem pretty difficult for me to pass them in a lot of other places, admittedly. It seems to be out the last corner, slipstream down the straight, because the slipstream is so powerful, but to be honest, are we going to start breaking into turn 1 on the brakes? Side by side with Bastianini, the rear is off the ground. It was like Bagnaia in the sprint in real life this year, and we've had to pick up the bike because we were going to crash. Look towards the track as we rejoin. Try and rejoin ahead of Bagnaia. Yeah, we've actually still got a few tenths ahead of him, so not too bad. Once again, another failed overtaking attempt at Bastianini, and the longer this goes on, the more chance we're giving him to sort of improve his pace. Seems like just this section of the track, we just have a little bit more than them. It's only like 2 or 3 corners on the track, really, that they actually have a bit over me. And if I'm sort of right in front of them through there, they can give it a go. And if I'm behind them, they can just pull the gap out a little bit. But this time, I'm not going to make the same mistake. Not going to try and get up the inside of him, throw a corner where we're just not able to do it. And this time, we are much, much closer to Enea as we go through Gallop. Apparently, the last corner's called. Never knew that. It's a bit of a weird one. And to be honest, I think the weird names put me off because I actually didn't get the cutback like I wanted to. But this time, we have got the drive at the corner, up towards the line then, because the line's not really on the ground. I think we had just gone over it as I said that. But we take the lead once again then from Enea. Is he going to attack us back at turn 1? Again, we're struggling to get the bike to actually tip into turn 1. Enea's on the inside, we're on the outside. We sweep around the outside of him. We've got to try and be aggressive into 3 to stop him up the inside. And we have done it indeed. Get the bike to change direction through 4. Try not to lose around the exit like we did previously. And here we go then. This could be the chance. Can we try and check out now? Oh, Enea back up the inside again. We've got a little bit wide. But Enea comes back up the inside of us. We're going to cut him back. We're going to try and run him out of road because he's being so aggressive with us. We completely took his nose off him there on the run up the hill. Through the Craig Jones corner there goes Bastianini back up the inside. We are having one hell of a battle with Enea here. And somehow we're still a second in front of Bagnaia. Bagnaia is surely going to get brought back up into this though if we keep battling the way that we are. Tell you what, I'm so happy that I went with the hard tyre because it is still working phenomenally well in these conditions. But I tell you what, Bastianini is giving us a fight. I'm making a couple of little mistakes to be fair, and it's because once I get in front of him I know I need to push to try and get away, but Bastianini is just riding very, very well in this race. He's not really making any mistakes. I'm just faster than him in a few areas. Well, to be honest, it's on the straight, isn't it? Out of this corner, we just pick up the power earlier, we just drive on him, get the ride-out device down, get the slipstream, not towards the line. I think we may have just beat him there, just like we did to Aleix in the sprint earlier on. But this time then, try and hit the brakes for turn 1, try and make sure we hit the apex so that we can gain a bit more time on him through this section, because obviously last time we were still half battling him through turn 2. Try and keep it through turn 3. We've run a little bit hot in there. Just had to risk it a little bit more on the front end just to actually get to pull down there. And through turn 4, make sure we hit the apex, don't spin up on the exit. Put the ride-out device down on the curb, so we have spun up a little bit. Into 5, make sure we don't go deep. And we have done a pretty good job of that this time, because last time we actually did go a bit deep through 5, which allowed Enea to close up. You can see we're underneath our best lap time by a decent amount here as well, so it's about the best lap we've hooked up all race. Fastest lap of the race then, 39.7, pretty much what I did in qualifying. So we've got the gap out to about 2 seconds now, 2 Bastianini behind, so a couple of laps to go. Just got to try and keep it clean, keep it safe, don't make any massive mistakes, keep the pace up decently well. We should have this one. I'm surprised by the pace we've had in this race, to be honest. I mean, you can see we are pretty much on par with what we were doing in qualifying, whereas Bastianini was a good second quicker than what we managed to do in qualifying in Qatar, so it just shows. So here we are then, about to start the final lap of the race, fastest lap of the race to me, 39.2. I think that's the quickest we've gone all weekend. And the time was there. The time was always there. It was just all about putting the lap together, really. And you can see now that we've got the clear air. The tyres are working very well for me now. The bike's feeling really good. I'm sort of in the groove with the track. We have got quite a bit in hand over the AI now, it seems, at this circuit. So I hope that they are a little bit more competitive at Austin. Now, we've had a really good race with them, of course, but I think I've just had a little bit more pace, whereas in Qatar, I think we were about right. I was pushing to keep Martin behind. I was pushing to keep the other two Aprilias behind. Obviously, I couldn't put a glove on Bastianini at Qatar. I think in the sprint, we had the pace to win the race there, but that was about it, to be fair. I think even Marc Marquez might have been a bit too quick for us in the sprint. So it seems like sometimes there's an AI or two that have a little bit more over the rest of them, but today didn't seem to be the case. Maybe the AI that was supposed to have a bit more was out of the race, and that's why I think it is determined before the beginning of the race. But that was almost a crash. Don't throw it away yet. But we're going to come home to a pretty dominant victory in the end, about 5 seconds clear of the AI. And to be honest, you can look on the lap times on the right. Once I got past him, I've just been in the 39s pretty much every single lap, and that has just been enough to break away, because the AI, I think, more were in the 40s, which is a shame because they definitely had 39s in them. They probably even had 38s in them, to be honest, but it just seems like maybe they kind of reacted to me not being on pole or something in qualifying. But either way then, here we go, on towards the line. We're going to get our first win in MotoGP. Well, I'll tell you what, Raul Fernandez actually did a pretty decent job in the end there, and you can see the simulated times clearly before the lap times there for Pedro Acosta, Jack Miller and Raul Fernandez in the 38s. So this is what I mean. The AI should have been capable of doing 38s, but it just didn't seem like, maybe for whatever reason, the cloudy conditions didn't help them, because they did seem slower than they did in the sprint. They definitely seemed like they had a bit more pace in the sprint potentially than in the actual main race, but then I suppose I got unleashed and had more time and didn't have to come back from as far. That was where it was crucial, really. I think if we got stuck behind, battling with Marc Marquez, Di Gianantonio, it's a very different game, because we then maybe catch Bagnaia and Bastianini at the end, because obviously we had the pace, but we probably struggled to get past them, like we did in the sprint, really. I kind of passed Aleix on the run to the line, but next up would have been those two guys, and we were just sort of running out of time. So, yeah, obviously having the whole race certainly makes it a lot easier, but a really, really good battle. Really enjoyed that. Shout-outs to Morbidelli and Alex Marquez as well for their 4th and 5th positions. And obviously we managed to beat Martin pretty convincingly there, so we should have those extra points for beating him. In the championship standings then, we actually move up to 2nd place ahead of Vinales. So Vinales out of that one, unfortunately. Now drops to 30 points off of Bastianini. 28 back to Martin as well. But we're only 8 points away from Enea Bastianini heading to Austin, which is a good track for Bastianini in real life. So maybe he will have a little bit of an advantage there. It's a good track usually for the player as well, so we will have to see how it pans out. Raul Fernandez, our teammate, moves up to 12th in the championship as well with that result. And of course, Bagnaia, probably one of the bigger names to watch out for there, shoots his way up into 7th place in the championship with a much better weekend compared to Losail. As for the team's championship then, of course, Ducati Lenovo continue to lead. We now move up to 2nd place ahead of our factory counterparts there, with Trackhouse Racing in 2nd place, Aprilia in 3rd, Gresini in 4th place then, and Pramac now just 1 point behind Gresini in 5th. As for the Constructors' Championship then, Ducati's unbroken record is finally broken, with the Aprilia taking the top step then, so we're now only 11 points behind them in the Manufacturers' Championship. KTM move ahead of Yamaha, Gasgas stay in 5th position, and Honda stay at the back. But there you go then, that is the Portuguese Grand Prix done. Our first victory in MotoGP. Really enjoyed that. Really good battle in both the races, to be honest. So I'm really glad that AI were able to give me a bit of a fight. It's a shame their pace didn't quite seem to have it in those last few laps, but at least we battled all the way up until a few laps ago, and then once I'd got the gap, I could kind of pull away. But I was trying the whole race. It just seemed like, I think once they got out my way and I wasn't having to try and break deep to make sure they didn't dive bomb me in a few spots, I could just sort of pick my own lines again, and yeah, it just seemed like I had a little bit on them, which is a surprise because I wasn't even on pole. I was actually expecting them to be really, really quick in the race, especially after that first lap of the sprint. But yeah, it just seemed to work in our favour today. So without any further ado then, we'll head back to the Career Hub, see what we've got on the social media feeds, and then end off the episode. But here we are then, 4 messages on the social media feed. That will be interesting. We've got Martin saying a few things, Vinales saying a few things, and obviously our teammate Raul Fernandez as well. Nothing too negative, seemingly, which is always good. So then we've got Vinales, great racer biker. Unfortunately, we were missing something to compete, but we'll try again in Texas. Congratulations. Well, thank you very much, Maverick. I'm really pleased with this result. It's a great race, and I hope we put on a good show for the fans. Yes, I want to keep on side with Vinales, of course. To be fair, Vinales probably could have challenged us a bit more in the main race because he really had some good pace in the sprint, but of course he crashed out very early on. Martin then says, I thought I had an advantage in Portimao, but Biker is a real threat. I'll certainly have to catch up next year. I mean, Martin had a stinker, didn't he, to be fair? But what can we say to Martin then? It was a really great race with a great crowd. We should always lock horns like this. We'll say that, because again, keep Martin on side. Fernandez, it's good to see Trackhouse Racing MotoGP have backed a winning horse. Biker's first win was fantastic. Well, that's a lovely thing to say, Raul, so thank you. It was a great race. And Bastianini, Biker is a tough cookie, but luckily now we're riding in Texas, and I'm sure I'll finish in front. So I think we're going to have to beat Bastianini in the next one, but this weekend has suddenly got more interesting. I'm looking forward to getting out onto the track and feeling the warmth of the crowd. So there we go then. That is the second round of our MotoGP career done. Already a race winner, now a sprint podium finisher as well. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed that one. If you are new to the channel, please do like the video and subscribe because it really helps me out. And of course, it is a win-win for both of us as you get some more MotoGP 24 game content in your subscription feed. But like I said, I hope you did enjoy that video. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you're all staying safe, and I shall see you in the next one.